I think the style of this car is probably one of its stronger suits. We'll see if it drives as well as it looks. This grille, I mean, there's just bits of everything in here, but it comes together well. Like I see bits of Bentley, definitely bits of Audi, from them having the Audi design, or traditional Genesis bits too, you know, that you're starting to see from their larger sedan. So I think it all kind of comes together quite nicely. Love the rims on this particular one. They are Pilot Sport 4 tires. I will say, if you can option smaller rims than these on there, we'll talk about in the drive review why I might get the smaller rims than the 19s this guy has. Just they look nice at least, and those are very aggressive, sporty tires on there. This is not functional. I like the red Brembo brake calipers. I do think this looks nice and prestigious. This is, I mean, if you think about what Lexus was doing with their first sedans, because this is the first pure Genesis branded car. The G80 and G90 are just kind of carryovers from when Genesis was part of Hyundai. So for a first effort, this is incredible. It's back even. People kind of are, I've heard mixed reviews of this. This looks like it's off of a very familiar to like a Mercedes Lexus thing, which I say all these as compliments actually. Like it's good looking and clean and fresh, and yet the exhaust integrated in there and these wraparound LEDs. Like, this is an attractive car. I actually think I'd say of this design, just like zooming out, is it looks at home with a Mercedes or you know, an Audi or anything like that. It looks very premium, which I think is a good job. There's no part of the car where I particularly don't like it. Like, it all comes, it has lots of nice different elements that all come together nicely and cleanly and cohesively. So now let's check out the inside, but not before we do the trunk. There is good trunk space on this guy. Look at that, you even get a Genesis frame that comes with it. That's exciting. So the trunk is actually very deep, pretty tall. It doesn't go down as much as I thought it might. Is kind of like the one thing, and that's probably because you do get a nice spare tire, which some of the competitions force you to do front flats. But yeah, the trunk, although this part isn't deep, it is pretty high here, higher than you'd expect. And it is like it goes really far back in. It does, we'll see when I get in back there, the almost hatchback like coupe like styling that's so popular right now. Like, they could have just made this a hatchback, literally just could have cut it right here. I mean, I know this is structural, but I'm just saying theoretically they could have had all that come up and whatnot. So I always think it's interesting on cars where it looks like a hatchback but it's not. Outside of the driving, probably this interior is my absolute, radio still on, absolute favorite part of the car. Kind of a little bit of Lexus, like lots of different materials there. You get kind of this like beautiful brushed trim up here, and then you get the metallic trim, and then you get the quilted leather, and then you get more quilted kind of leather look down here, and then you get this white piping on the seats. These seats almost have a bluish tinge to them. I believe they're technically black, but in person it's a cool black color, and man, this leather is definitely very premium and very nice. Good job, Genesis, there. You feel like you're in a nice place. I mean, just looking at everything here, the gauges are nice, even small subtle details. See how these are kind of fluted bezels and adjusters kind of around here. So the cup holder has that trend as well, and this like nice little metallic piece down here. Not only does the front cup holder have that, but coming around to the back here, even the back cup holders have that little accent. That's like a nice detail that in a car, you know, the entry-level model, other companies might miss. Back here, you still get these, the quilted leather, you get the nice metallic trim, you get, you know, you feel like you're in a nice place. Even in the back of this car, the seats are very comfortable, so we'll talk more about a little bit in the driver view. And then this is a nice little touch. You can move it up, and you can move the recliner from back here, so if there's no passenger, either the person over here or over where I am can do it. Space is one area of improvement. Well, there's about 3 that I've noticed so far with this car. Space is one. With 2 over 6 feet people, or there's a gentleman who was 6'2", and then someone who was like in mid 5 feet back here, and it was definitely tight, as you can see. So that's one thing. In next gen, one of these I hope is a little bigger, so just keep it in mind with who you bring around. Look at this, speaking of nice trim pieces, this is like, I guess, to hang your clothes on. I'm not sure. Someone in the comments can let me go, because there's a traditional like clothes hanger and grab handle up here. Nice suede Alcantara type feel here. Yeah, there's no sunshades. I'm gonna assume that's a hanger or something like that. You know, nice LED courtesy lights. It almost looks like there's a little speaker, a microphone back here, which is interesting. And again, it's very comfortable here in the rear. If there's enough space for you, the rear is actually a nice place to spend time. You get heated seats on the door there, or you can, at least depending how you option it, I suppose. You get an extra USB charging port back here. You get some little vents. Nothing too crazy, not too much to talk about, but a nice place to spend time. No pano roof, but at least you get this nice suede headliner you can look up at. But I would have kind of liked that there was a pano roof, but again, that's just being nitpicky. Seats are, and they're very comfortable. This doesn't look like it'd be comfortable. It looks nice, this metal going around there. It's not uncomfortable because this headrest is nice and squishy and soft and comes out more, and somehow that doesn't hit your back, at least not for me. Various, you know, different controls here. One nice thing as well is you can adjust the bolsters, and whenever you do something with the seats, it shows you what you're doing up there. I don't think there's actually anything more you can do with the options up there, but at least it shows you. And then they've taken the BMW thing with the awesome Lexicon branded sound system. It sounds amazing. Of putting the subwoofer, it looks like, under the seats there. Not too many cars have like that, but it gives it a nice overall bass sound. And let's check out the belly of this beast here. You can see this black color is absolutely beautiful. It's like an obsidian type black, but it is hard to keep clean. All right, so let's check it out in here. It says turbo, and GDI, which I believe is like direct fuel injection, is their marketing term for it. Kind of neat how you can see like the crossbars that are structural in there. That's a nice touch, and I like that they use that nice metallic, so you can tell it might actually, you know, hint at being a good handling car as well. Looks like, is the actual battery underneath there? Is this just this is a fuse box, but I guess there's a battery jumper on there. The battery's in the trunk. That's what I thought, but just wanted to check there. Not too much to talk about here. Pretty nice looking, beefy. It's a nice looking engine though. Not just these, but like the quality of this is nice and looks nice, and it's just looks like it's a well-built engine, and we'll talk about in the drive review more if it drives as well. But if you've seen my Stinger review, you know I actually like this engine and I'm a fan of it because it's shared in there. And then interestingly enough, I know I've always talked about these labels before. Nice to know what'll happen if you don't listen to them. And then here's another one. It's nice to know not only is it hot, but this is what'll happen. You'll burn your fingers if you don't listen to them and do that. And it also says hot, lest you were still confused. Just very briefly talking about each element of this, you know, nice buttons in there, as you'd expect from Genesis, and even like the Kia Stinger, when you look at that, has that beautiful gauges, nice like wide gauge there, nice blue. One nice thing you can see that little red? It looks like a laser shines down, so wherever your speed is, that little red follows you around. These gauges here are nice, and this screen here is, you know, has lots of helpful information. You know, a compass. This one's definitely, you know, it's not like the full-on deal like some cars have, but I like that. You can see the whole 550 Newton meters of torque the car has there. You know, you can set almost, I guess is technically like a lap timer there, which is kind of fun, and G-force. You can see it can't actually go, maybe, you cannot see. In theory, though, it can actually go over 1G. I haven't been able to get it there yet, but with these 4S tires, it's at least theoretically possible. So that's actually kind of interesting, I thought. And that's kind of about it on these gauges. Everything else is just like standard, you know, trip computer stuff in there, and pretty standard Hyundai, Kia, you know, systems, things like that. There, I don't know if you can option a larger screen on here. If this is the largest one, again, it's not a huge deal. It's just not huge. Like, you can't do the I mean, yeah, it's fine, and it's what it is. But I imagine, you know, you can almost tell that there's like room for a larger screen. Thing I will say that I'll point out about this is what is on my presets, and it's basically like a TV guide function. Maybe other Hyundai or Genesis products have it. I haven't really seen that, you know, lately. So if you have like a favorite show or something like that, you know, you can kind of see with the TV guide like layout what is on there. I thought that was pretty neat. And of course you can like all you know, Genesis products or even Hyundai Kia products, you can all your favorites record, and you can go back several songs and things like that. Or if you like a song as it's playing, you can go back to the beginning. One thing I will point out, I can't turn that down so I don't get a copyright notice, is the this is kind of like a Logic 7 surround sound mode. The on stage mode I really like, and most of these just have an on or an off, or not a lot of adjustments like this. So you can play with this and see which one you think sounds better. But this Lexicon stereo, I will say again, just absolutely rocks in this car and is really, really, you know, great. Then it also has Clarify, which is, these are all buried down here. So if you get into the audio menu, don't miss them if you have this sound system. This one actually just kind of is kind of something like something my home Harman Kardon receiver has, and it just kind of increases the sound quality in there as well. Again, nice materials, nice stitched dash, things like that all up here as well. Let's check out the glove box. Oh, it comes with an actual G70 book. Like an actual box that the book comes in. That's kind of a nice touch. Let's check out this console. It's not very deep, actually, probably because the drive shaft's there, but there is a USB charger, and you know, can store some things. And then of course you have this extra storage up here, wireless charging. It's nice. It'll actually tell you if you forget your phone in there up here, which I thought was kind of neat, so you don't forget that. Paddle shifters, and the transmission's fairly quick to respond. I do like where the drive modes are there, nice and easy to get to. You can just pop it in the sport, or there is custom. I swear I thought the Kia Stinger had adjustable dampers though. This one only has powertrain, which is like the engine, and steering. That is it. For it. I could be wrong about the Stinger having adjustable dampers. Let me know down in the comments if you know. But again, nice drive modes, buttons there. Again, no area to like force it into manual mode. It'll go into manual. Oh, that's cool. The gauges change quite nicely there. Got kind of the color. I like the color for custom. That looks neat. And if there's bolsters that are adjustable there, which as you change the drive modes can adjust as well. So I'll get the few areas of improvement out of the way right very early on in this car that I'm sure, you know, Genesis will kind of get to. One that is, you know, you've heard in every review, the rear legroom is definitely small. If you have a lot of 6 feet plus or long-legged passengers back there, small for its class, to be sure. The other one is and this car is actually smaller than its cousin, sister, whatever you want to call it, the Stinger, believe it or not, and lighter, which we'll talk about in the drive review, which is a good thing. Also on this car, at very high speeds, there's a little bit of wind noise relative to its class of like a, you know, luxury vehicle. It's not bad, it's not annoying. You put some music on, it's not there. It's just kind of one thing I noticed. This is an early production model though, so that may have something to do with it. And the third thing is the ride is just kind of choppy. It's compared to, say, it's German and definitely like a Lexus competitor. So now that I have that out of the way, we can talk about all the cool and good things on this car. Right out of the bat, I like this car better than the Stinger I drove. But one thing I like especially better is the handling. And in the past, Kias have always been kind of like the more sporty version whenever I've reviewed both of them. You know, the Kia's always been more sporty than the Hyundai, but now this is technically a Genesis. So I think Genesis, especially in this car, is going for the sporty thing. So talking about that, the steering, even in like comfort mode, is incredible on this car. Engine is also a huge strong point. It's so quick. The transmission lets it down when you shift on your own just a little bit and can sometimes be caught unprepared, but it's, you know, still a very sporty, quick car. It prices against all the smaller engine, you know, German competitors, even though this is the bigger engine car. My C-Class, for example, was the same price as this with the small engine. this is with the big engine, and I'd take this car in the big engine as well. Brakes are great, handling is great. The seats are comfortable. It would be a good long trip car with all the self-driving stuff. It's just a good place to spend time and be in, and the Bentley interior designer they hired really did a great job on this car. I think this is, you know, almost up there in a lot of ways with the C-Class, which has kind of been where, you know, the top of this kind of class of car. It's really nice, and it's an incredible first effort. So ultimately, would I buy this car with my own money? The warranty on this car is better, and, you know, Hyundai, Kia, Genesis have all proven themselves great with reliability. Like the powertrain warranty on this car, don't think any other luxury car has. And then this even has the 5-year, I believe, 60,000 full warranty, where most of its competitors are 450. So that's an extra year and 10,000 miles, which is pretty nice, considering you're paying less money, you know, for this car than its competitors. So this definitely is a car I would check out with my own money. It's probably one of the most fun cars in its segment and in its class, which is just incredible to come out of the gate, you know, with that. It also has one of the strongest interiors, and I like the looks quite a lot as well. That's obviously a subjective thing. So to come out winning or being class leading, if not the best in class in all those ways, to me is just huge, because I actually got more compliments and looks and people asking about this car, you know, when I had my BMW, or when I was in my Audi, or when I drive my Mercedes around. I think Genesis is getting close to the point of being, you know, where it's like when you show up in a Lexus, you know, people aren't going to look down on you as buying like the cheap car anymore. If anything, Lexuses are actually more than their German competitors now, in some cases, in trims and things like that. All right, putting it in sport mode, I actually haven't had to do that yet this week. So it does have adjustable bolsters on at least the driver's seat, which kind of come in. Even though this isn't the sport trim, the engine is just incredible. I mean, it's a very fast engine. There's not a lot of turbo lag. It puts the power down really well. This one does have the staggered tires on it in the rear. Coming around turns, like I said, this car, it definitely doesn't give up, it feels like, quite as easily, and maybe that's just because it's a little bit lighter, or Genesis tuned it a little differently than the Stinger. I think this is the more athletic choice, which is weird, because in a lot of ways it's also the more luxurious choice, except maybe the ride quality might be the only way the Stinger wins. But again, this car's not bad by any chance. It's just the word. Very aggressive, good sharp turn in. Suspension tuning's great. The brakes are really, really good as well. And just when you get on it, it is, wow, it is quick. I mean, properly so that you're reaching illegal speeds very, very quickly. Like I said, this car is just tuned so well. Outside of this drive review and taking on a couple of curves I did, I just left it in comfort, which is kind of unusual that you can get away with that. So that's kind of neat. The steering is probably one of my favorite parts of it, in the suspension. It definitely has that M balance and BMW M car balance, which is, I said that on the Veloster when I reviewed it, the Veloster N, and this car has it as well. All the systems just work well and play well nicely together. Driving the car, yeah, I can't really think of any weaknesses of it at all, which is kind of impressive. I really, really do like the 4S tires are probably a lot of what makes it maybe better than the Stinger too. It is just a great car. Easy to live with every day, easy to drive every day, and you know, things like that. So there's a man on a bicycle swerving down the street there. Well, next time, my speedy racers, drive on.